Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Fyn in Denmark, the middle island of course, and we're having a taste of another beer from Indslev Breggeri's Ugly Duck Brewing Company range. And this one is the Rye Porter, which should be really nice. It comes in at 7.8% and this one was very kindly sent to me by Mike from Indslev Bryggeri. So a huge thank you to Mike and Anders at the brewery for sending me across these beers. This is the second box they've sent me, so a huge thank you to you guys for supporting the channel, and I hope you enjoy the reviews. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the video description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews, both from Indslev and from the Ugly Duck range. There's all the usual social media, and if you do want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. As always, to those of you in Denmark, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. So anyway, Ugly Duck Brewing Company, as I've told you many a time, is one of the brands of beer produced by Indslev Bryggeri, who are based in Nørre, Aaby, near Middelfart on the island of Fyn in Denmark. As you know, you've got mainland Denmark, which is Jutland, you've got Sjælland in the east where Copenhagen is, and Fyn is right in the middle, and Nørre Aaby is in the northwestern part of Fyn. So the Indslev Brewery has roots that trace back to the year 1897, but they only reopened as a modern brewery back in 2006, so they're about 10 years old just now. But since 2012 they've also been brewing the Ugly Duck beers, which are more, I guess you would say, old school American style beers. They've definitely got this kind of old school character to them, but they have the definite hoppiness and maltiness that you get with some of these big American beers. But the brewery is owned by Anders Rasmussen, whose great grandfather Frederick built the original brewery building back in 1897, and both of them actually grew up on this farm right next to the brewery. So like quite a few breweries in Scandinavia, they are a farmhouse brewery. Aaby is another notable one here in Sweden that is a farmhouse brewery. But Indslev are actually the first brewery in Denmark to specialise in the brewing of wheat beer, and they actually remain the only one doing so until today. And the Ugly Duck beers, as I say, they were born out of the idea of wanting to brew the more American style beers and a few different things too. So this is why they started up the Ugly Duck branch of the company, and they're pretty well received throughout Denmark these days, and the beers are pretty damn good. But the two brewers at the brewery are Stefan Peter Stadler, who's from Munich, and he graduated as a brewer from the Hofbräu School, of course, a very prestigious German brewery. There's also Torben Steenholt, who is Danish, and he's worked for a few different Danish microbreweries too. And the brewery building has been modernised. They do brew in that original building from 1897, and they've got a Kasper Schulz brew kit from Bamberg in Germany, one of the holy grails, and Kasper Schulz in the brewing industry is a very, very well known name. So yeah, very good brewery. They've got a good range of beers which is ever expanding. I personally like the Indslev beers. The wheat hybrids that they do are really nice, and the American style things that you get from Ugly Duck are pretty good too. The IPAs especially, I think, are really nice. But we'll see how we get on with this one. So this guy is a 7.8% porter beer. I do have the hops and malt base down here. So it's hopped with Cascade and Simcoe. It's got a malt base of caramel, rye, oats, chocolate and black malts in this one. So it should be really nice. There is a big range from the Ugly Duck beers, by the way. So basically just pick something you like, a style that you enjoy, and you will actually, I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it. Some of my favourites are the Imperial Vanilla Coffee Porter. There is also the Miami Vice is quite nice as well. The Hop Devil's good. And the Amarillo and Citra was one that I really enjoyed too. The IPAs, I think, are where Ugly Duck really shine, but the dark beers can be quite good too. I think this is only the second dark beer I'm trying from these guys. So let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. You can see the standard Ugly Duck Brewing Company artwork on this one, plain bottle cap. It says on the back here, no, this is not an extreme beer, no, it is not hop explosion, this is smoothness, delicious tasty, subtle toastiness, and also a hint of hops, like a long petting of your taste buds. At only 7.8% alcohol, this beer is one you want to drink all night for your grilled steak and chocolatey desserts and your creamy blue cheeses. Be sure to keep up with the brewer's latest notes at uglyduckbrewing.dk. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Should be quite interesting. As I say, it was rated at 89 on Rate Beer when I checked it out, and you can smell the nice malty character off this one as you pour it. This will have a nice head on it. There we are. That looks really nice. I've got a nice summer's day here in Lund. I'm filming this review for you on the 14th of May, but you'll be seeing it sometime in June, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a little bit later than that, before the Japanese beer reviews start to come. But as you can see, this beer has poured a really nice kind of dark ebony rosewood colour. There's a solid finger of a frothy beige tan head on this one. It looks really nice. There's a big bit of bubbles on the bottom here, a few bigger sized bubbles and quite a few little ones going up towards the bottom of the head. The beer's not transparent at all. If I shine it up to the light, it's definitely ebony rosewood, almost pitch black actually, but it looks very, very nice. There's no visible sediment in it either, so yeah, it should be really nice. Let's have a look at the aroma then for this one. Yeah, it's kind of exactly what you would expect. You know, you've got that rye bread character in the malt base there, you can really pick that up, but it's kind of blanketed. The chocolatey sweetness in this one really comes up. You can smell some of the toasted caramel elements to this one as well. But you don't have so much in the way of coffee. When it's got black malt in it, you would always expect it to be kind of quite roasted and things like that, but really it's more sweet and caramelly this one. You can detect the kind of rye bread character underneath it. The rye bread and oaty notes are really coming out in this one. It smells really nice. There's almost a woody and nutty kind of note coming out of the beer as well. But you've got some nice earthy hops in there. Maybe a little bit of grassiness or something too, but definitely an earthy hop character. And you can smell some of the red fruity esters. For me it's quite candied, but there is a little bit of a kind of raisiny character in there too. But it has everything you would expect of the porter. I think at 7.8%, this would be on the low end of the Imperial Porter range. Normally a porter I think is between 5 and 6, maybe even 4.5%. But I think 5 to 6% is normally what you get a porter in, and this is 7.8. So yeah, smells really nice, and that's typical of the Ugly Duck beers. They've usually got good aromas to them, and like I say, in terms of taste, they're kind of like old school American craft beers. You know, if you think about Anchor and some of these sorts of breweries, they use certain hops, you know, Chinook and Cascade and things, the older American hops, and it works really well for them. But yeah, enjoy the aroma of this one a little bit before you open it up, but let's get stuck into this beer now. This is the Rye Porter from Ugly Duck Brewing Company in Nørre Aaby on Fyn, Denmark. Skål! That's nice. You get more of the black malts and the kind of coffee-ish flavours coming out in that. That's the first thing you're going to notice. The aroma is a bit more sweet, but it's definitely got a bit more of that black malt and kind of bitterness to the malt base on the first taste. But as I always say, sugar it around your palate and let your whole mouth adjust to this one before you start dissecting the flavour too much. But yeah, that's nice. It certainly covers the alcohol well as well. It's a 7.8%, a little bit heavier than a normal porter, but it works out really nicely. So yeah, this is a good beer. In the middle of your palate, you're kind of blanketed with this rye bread character, as you would expect when it's a rye porter. It goes right across the middle of the tongue, and on top of that, right in the middle of the palate, I'm getting a lot of the black malt coming out. There's a nice kind of almost coffee-ish black malt bitterness to this one. You can really pick that up, and it's actually really quite dry in the middle of the tongue. That's just lingering there for me. Yeah, definitely not as sweet as I was as I was thinking it would be when you consider the aroma. But there is a little bit of chocolate character in there, maybe some of the toasted caramel too, but for me the malt base is quite bready and quite black and bitter actually, which is quite interesting. But yeah, you're not going to question this at all. It is a really quite nice beer. There's a definite woody and kind of nutty note coming out of this one too. You can detect that in the middle of the palate as you come forward a little bit. There is a little bit of fruity character just behind the front curve of the palate too. A little bit of a red, kind of candied fruit ester I would say coming out of this one. You can pick that up in there. But it's really, everything kind of blends together quite well in this one. For me, this one leans more towards the red, the sort of rye bready characters and that roasted black malt in there. So yeah, at the back corners of the palate, you've got some earthy hop characters. As you come further forward, it smooths out. The hoppy side of things is quite smooth, but it becomes a little bit more grassy and slightly floral as you go around the front curve of the tongue, and then just behind that front curve there's a little oily bubble, and you start to get some of the red fruity esters out of this. Yeah, this is nice. I mean, the other one, of course, to compare it to is the vanilla coffee imperial porter that they do, and that's a lot sweeter than this one. The coffee is a bit more smooth, whereas this one is a bit more of a bitter porter. So that's probably why they've got the two different ones in the range. So yeah, this is a nice beer. This is good. I have to admit, I do like this one. It's definitely different from the Imperial Vanilla Coffee Porter, so if you enjoy sweet porters, go for that one, but if you enjoy the more bitter and darker, almost kind of more robust porters, then this is the one you want to go for from these guys. But yeah, this is nice. So, in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say it's mid-bodied. It's got quite an oily mouthfeel, but at the same time, it is quite wet. Carbonation is quite smooth, but there is a little bit of a prickle to it, and that helps bring out some of the black, the sort of roasty black malty characters in this one, which is really nice. The hoppy character for me is quite smooth. There's a bit of sweetness to the malt base, but overall the malt base is quite bitter. It's that roasty black malt that's just coming out in this one for me, and that lingers in the middle of the palate. There's a little bit of fruity juicy character too, but overall it is mainly a bitter porter, this one. So like I say, if you enjoy sweet porters and you want to try one of the Ugly Duck beers, I would say go for the Vanilla Imperial Coffee Porter. That's a bit sweeter than this, but it does have an element of the coffee stuff to it, the coffee bitterness, but this one is a lot more bitter than what I remember the other one being. So if you like the bitter porters, this is the one you want to go for. But again, another very, very solid beer from Ugly Duck Brewing Company. So is it one of my favourite ones I've tried from them so far? It could well be. You know, the beers that I've tried from them have mainly been lighter beers. There have been a couple of darker beers. I've got a stout to try from these guys too, so that would be balance my opinion a little bit more about the brewery. But I think the Ugly Duck beers shine a bit more when it comes to the lighter side of things, but their dark beers I've tried are very, very solid as well. But my favourite beers from this brewery so far probably have been the IPAs. But this is another very good beer, and I'm sure if you enjoy the porter style, you will like this one too. So make sure you check it out. But yeah, as always, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. I hope you're enjoying the Ugly Duck beer reviews that I'm doing for you. Make sure you go and check them out. They've got some pretty awesome beers. The Indslev wheat beers I really like as well. The wheat stout was really nice, and the Fada IPA is really good as well, so make sure you check out those beers. But until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know your favourite beers from this brewery as well, and like I say, to those of you in Denmark, please do let me know other Danish beers and breweries that you guys would like me to have a look at. So this is the Rye Porter from Ugly Duck Brewing Company, a nice bitter porter, so make sure you go and check it out if that's your thing. Slàinte just now.